everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Tarot-Scopes again. We'll be doing the Tarot-Scopes for the month of May 2023, and we're going to be doing them for the sign of Libra. That's Libra Sun, Libra Moon, or Libra Rising. And we have a couple of, I'm going to just briefly go over some of the astrology of the month. And Libra is a Venus ruled planet, so we'll look to see what Venus is doing. Venus starts the month in Gemini and quickly moves into Cancer. That occurs on the 7th, I believe. Yes, Venus moves into Cancer on the 7th. Venus is pretty active at the beginning of the month. Of course, right at the very, very beginning of the month, Pluto stations retrograde. Pluto is at about, I think 0.19 or so of Aquarius. Let me just check that. What do we have here? 0.22. So 1 degree of Aquarius. It just moved into Aquarius back in March 23rd, I believe it was, and it's been moving forward in Aquarius and certainly creating a lot of stuff happening. Certainly, we can feel the energy and the power of the people expressing itself. Unfortunately, it's not staying there, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, it is going to move back into Capricorn, and that's going to happen on June 11th. But until then, it's still in Aquarius. It's in Aquarius all month. And the reason I bring it up is because now that it's retrograde, it's sort of sitting at that first degree. And if you happen to have first degree Libra, early Libra, we know that this is trining your Libra planets. And so it's very, very potent, very, very potent energy. Trine is a flow. It is a flow of creative self-expression. So you might find yourself, even just in generally, feeling more creative and more self-expressive. And, Libra does like to keep the peace. And sometimes being self-expressive does the opposite. So in some cases, it's against your nature. In other cases, it's right along with your nature. Venus does make a square to Neptune and in conjunct to Pluto this month. The square to Neptune is a first quarter crisis in action square, and Neptune and Venus have a very special relationship. Venus, as Neptune is considered the higher octave of Venus, love, which is Venus is the planet of love, brought to its highest expression of compassion. And so we're going to need to have some compassion for each other and compassion for the situations we find ourselves in, just in general, not just for you, Libra, but for everyone. But there is this need to take an action, and it would be an action on a relationship or maybe a compassionate action. However, we do need to be aware that you can only help people that really want to help themselves to a certain extent. We have to be careful of maybe making it something that it's not quite, which can happen with Neptune, because Neptune tends to make us very idealistic. So we need to be aware of that. The inconjunct to Pluto is irritating. Pluto, of course, in Pluto in Aquarius, the inconjunct occurs once Venus moves into Cancer. And as far as Venus moving from Gemini to Cancer, you tend to be with your ruling planet in the sign of Cancer, which is very sensitive and emotional sign. We tend to be a little bit more sensitive in that respect. And Venus does make a lovely trine to Saturn that sort of shores up that energy with Saturn in Pisces and Venus in Gemini. So the beginning of the month is much more active for your ruling planet. As far as the month goes, we do have a conjunction of the Sun and Uranus that's occurring on the 9th. That's the start of a synodic cycle between those two planets. It's happening at 19 degrees of Taurus. And for you, 19 degrees of Taurus would be in your 8th house. So this is a time to evaluate your emotional relationships, but also there can be a sudden shock around things like taxes or Maybe you're getting money from somebody passed away and you didn't know it, or it was unexpected, and you get some unexpected money through that, which can happen with that Sun, Uranus, and Taurus in that house for you. We do have a full moon lunar eclipse that's occurring on the 5th. That's 5/5. That's Cinco de Mayo, 5/5 portal. It's part of the eclipse cycle that began with the new moon at 29 degrees of Aries. We get to this full moon, and whatever was planted at that time comes to fruition, and we get to see it. And of course, at this point, we have Sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. So that axis, the Taurus Scorpio axis, gets activated for all of us. It is the axis of life and death. And we do have some powerful shifts as Pluto, okay, so we have shifts. One of them is Pluto changes direction. Mercury also changes direction. That happens on the 15th, I think. No, the 14th. It happens at the 4th. It happens on the 14th. And Mercury goes direct. So we have Pluto going backwards. We have Mercury moving forward. And then we have some changes in the signs. Of course, we have your ruler, Venus, moving into Cancer, as I said, on the 7th. And we also have Jupiter moving into Taurus, which is a sign that's ruled by Venus as well. And so you get a little bit of a boost from that. For you, Taurus is in your, let's see, where is Taurus in your, with the Libra rising? So it'd be Aries, second house again, right? Oh, yes. I mean, 8th house again. So taxes, perhaps. It's not always bad news, though. Okay. And so that happens. And then we also have a new moon, the end of Taurus, on the 19th at 28 minutes, 28 degrees, 29 minutes. So 29 degrees of Taurus, which is actually on Caput Algol, which is a lose your head star. So we'll see what that means with that new moon. Could be a lot of new beginnings and endings and new beginnings for folk at that time. So that is what I think I want to say about the month. I don't want to get too far into it. We also have Mars move into Leo, and we have a grand fixed square in the chart with the nodes. This is a time of great tension, and it's a time of decisions that need to be made. So that's true for all of us. We'll see it in the outer world for sure. Okay, so that's what I want to say about that. So let's take a look. I'm going to use a, I want to use a, an oracle deck. Last month in April, I used the Starseed Oracle, and this time in honor of spring and May and everything blooming, at least here in the eastern part of the U.S., I'm going to use my Soulflower deck. So let me grab that, and we'll pull a card on that for you, Libra. All right, I have it in this nice little bag that Ona made for me. It makes these beautiful bags that you can put your cards in. I don't know if she sells them, but if she does, they're amazing and smell fantastic. I love the smell of leather. Okay. Apologies if you're a vegan. Anyway. All right, let's see. What card? This is from the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle by Linda Estabrook. No, I'm sorry. Estabrook. Linda Estabrook. Really cool. I actually picked it up the same time I brought the Starseed deck, so I figured one outer space deck and one earthy deck, and I was balanced. So let's balance this out. Okay. Trying to find a comfortable spot in my chair here. Not always easy. I get a comfortable spot and then I have to move, and then I have to readjust myself. All right, here we go. We have milk thistle, forgiveness. Okay. And I'm going to read the card. It says, life has taught you to protect yourself, but sometimes you end up hurting yourself. Milk thistle helps you to let go through the power of forgiveness. All of the self-imposed restrictions and defensive armor that are making it hard for you to open and receive all the love and abundance the universe has to flow towards you. Milk thistle is very healthy for the liver, and the liver is often where we hold a lot of our anger. So let's see what else it says about this. I think in Chinese medicine, the liver is called the general. Okay. Medicinally, medicinally milk thistle is used as a liver tonic. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is the organ that governs the flow of emotions, including anger and rage. Yeah, don't I know it? Milk thistle is a prickly, spiky plant, obviously needs to be handled extremely delicately. The prickles are a powerful defense system, just like the liver. And if you are not careful, you will wind up causing yourself substantial pain. We had milk thistle. When we get thistle in the yard, I keep a wide berth with that spiky little thing. It's beautiful though, and the bees love it. The pollinators love it. Milk thistle is asking us to examine how we channel and process our strong feelings, not just towards others, but towards ourselves. So that we don't create, store, or perpetuate lasting pain. So often when we think of forgiveness, we think of forgiving others, those difficult people in our lives, those relationships and experiences that have hurt us and have found a way to lodge in our deepest, most vulnerable places. It is a heavy, painful, dark, and lonely burden. This energy needs to be released, but often erupts unintentionally in the form of anger and blame, laced with personal pain. Torn up, bleeding, it lodges deeper inside of us and forms in the form of shame and guilt, and could have beens and should have been sink in. Milk thistle is asking us to forgive ourselves too. She is asking us to handle ourselves and others gently and with great love and care. Forgiveness is the ultimate form of letting go. When we find ourselves entertaining feelings of resentment, blame, judgment, guilt, or shame, or when we find ourselves slipping into old stories, scripts, dialogues, and thoughts that are not serving us, or perhaps we are focusing on other people's negativity, milk thistle says it is time to detach and heal through the practice and power of forgiveness. That's what Lisa says, and I have to definitely agree with that. Okay, so that is the plans of the month for you. Now let's take a look at the tarot cards. I'm going to be using the Illuminati deck here, and we'll do a cardinal cross for Libras. Again, Libra Sun, Libra Moon, Libra Rising. What is up for you, Libra? What is up for you, Libra? I got a message that anvil has been struck. I don't know what that means. Something has been struck, a deal has been struck, maybe. A binding deal, a binding contract of some sort. You want to be careful around that. Not that it's not a good thing to do, but you just really need to make sure that it's fair. Okay. Princess of Pentacles. That's a new project of some sort. Maybe a new business proposal, a new contract, something like that. Something coming your way. You just need to make sure you're protected financially with that. Dot your I's, cross your T's, that kind of thing. Okay. Let's see. We start with the Prince of Cups. This is somebody offering you something. The Prince of Cups is generally well-intended of an energy, but not always realistic. And so you have to watch for the idealism here. This could be that Venus square Neptune at the beginning of the month. If it sounds too good to be true, perhaps it is. Let's see what challenges that. Yeah, so if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. It most likely is. Let's see what's underneath. Oh, an illumination. So what I see could happen, the sun here at the bottom, is that these two cards could be, you're seeing right now that what somebody was offering you was in fact either not good for you or not what you needed, or you saw through the deception, perhaps the deception. And we have the illumination card at the bottom, which says that you're seeing what you need to see. Let's see your past. We have the World. So something just recently ended, and now we have a new beginning. Something just recently ended. And it certainly ended. I mean, this is as endy as you get. Let's see what's in the sky. The Queen of Wands. This is dominion. This is sustenance, sustaining. This is a powerful feminine card. Of course, you being a Venus ruled sign, when the feminine is powerful, it benefits you usually, benefits us all. There's the black cat. Yep. Queen of Wands. So either you're being seen this way, or there is a woman available, somebody who is very sure of their place in the world and their power, and can be very helpful to you. Let's see what's in the immediate future. We have your card, guys, Justice. So it looks like something is decided. Something is decided, and the things are evened out, right? Things are evened out. How it's seen from the outside, seeing who is really to blame here, like who's really to blame. This is interesting reading. Trying to think if there's any famous people that are Libras that, you know, that we see every day, that this might, oh, wow, that's interesting. You know who is a Libra is Putin. Putin's a Libra. It's a big month for Putin, I'll tell you. Your domestic situation, there's some nostalgia here. This is also a family card. So it looks like you're going to be spending some time with family, maybe some cousins. Maybe you're doing one of those cousin, you know, all the cousins get together. You know, when you're a kid, you're the best when you're a kid and your family's together is if you have cousins that you get along with, right? It could be the worst too, but often it's a lot of fun. So I feel like there's that energy of cousins coming in here. Hopes and fears, a celebration. Of course, it's a hope, and sometimes it's a fear, because sometimes we're like, can we really celebrate? Did something really good happen? Isn't it terrible that we kind of feel that way? It's been so difficult. And the Emperor here, dominion, somebody in charge. I'm wondering if this is a new leader coming in, But for you specifically, it means taking charge of your environment, finally getting to see what it is that you have power over or power through, and working that energy, and being, you could have really, this could have been some sort of legal thing where, this is what's coming in now, some sort of legal thing where you were being abused and the person wasn't being held accountable, and suddenly the light shines on the situation. People see that what you said was exactly true, and because of that, that person falls and you rise in the ranks. So that's a possibility as well. We have temperance, healing. The 10 of Cups, which is burden. You need to, part of the healing process is to shed some of your burdens and mourn your losses. So there's some healing that still needs to be done around how much responsibility you're taking, and a willingness to let go of the losses and move on with your life with what you still have going for you. So, wow, really powerful, powerful reading. All right. Well, Libra, looks like it's going to be an interesting month. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Like and subscribe if you would like a reading with me. Astrology, Kabbalah, numerology reading. I offered both hour and hour-and-a-half readings. If it's your first reading, I suggest you take the 90-minute reading so we can get through both the astrology, the numerology, and the Kabbalah, which is an awful lot to get done in one reading, but most people really enjoy them. You could do that, or you could become a patron on my Patreon if you're enjoying my in the news segments, or the Devils in the Detail segments, or the Rise of the Feminine segments, or whatever it is, and those segments that I do. And if you want to know what kind of readings I do, you can watch those, because that's kind of what I would do with you. You don't have to be famous or infamous to get a reading with me. And I think that's it. So have yourself a wonderful month, and it's going to be a doozy, and we're going to walk through it together. So not to worry, not to worry. All right, guys. Namaste.